So, this is my first day working on the Cresta JZX90 since I've got to Alabama. When we were in Utah, we got the engine set in, and we got a bunch of the parts together, brought that along. It definitely needs some body work, but I'm basically got all the parts set out that we had in the interior so I can get to the stuff on the inside. I took out some of the door trim. The car has been color changed twice. Originally it was white, then it was yellow. They didn't do a great job on the color change. I mean, not like a full complete job, so I'm taking out all the trim so we can do a full complete job of a color change. And then I started taking apart the interior because this thing is a wiring mess, both under the dash and inside the engine bay, all that stuff. I'm going to build a wiring harness and clean up a bunch of under dash wiring and try and make the interior as comfortable and nice looking as possible. So I think I'm going to pull the dash, which I think means pulling the roll cage. So it's looking kind of like a little bit of a major project. The engine also needs to be finished being installed, but I want to straighten out the frame rails first. So I think we're going to pull the frame rails out before I do any of the accessory bolt-on stuff. Like, you got to bolt on the oil cooler, the radiator, hook up the oil lines, build a wiring harness, all that kind of stuff. So in the meantime, I'm probably going to clean the engine bay. By clean it, I mean like take out unnecessary stuff. I might do an ABS delete. And I am going to keep the air conditioner, but I don't have an AC compressor with me, so I'll probably have to do that when I get home, because I got plenty of AC compressors at the shop. Also, I think we're going to do electric power steering on this car, but I didn't bring a pump with me, so I've either got to find one here locally in Dothan or wait till I get home. So, oh, one other thing is the water pump is what do you call it? It's a hydrofan water pump, and I would like to delete it, but I've already bolted it on, so I'm going to look into what it takes to delete the hydrofan setup. The car needs a ton of sanding work as far as the body work goes. The skirts are patched together, but they have Bondo and stuff that need to be sanded. This is two-piece, needs to become one piece. We do not have a front lip, although it does. Rob bought a front bumper and never installed it, so we just opened that front bumper straight from Russia. And I don't have a front lip for this car, so I got to figure out some way to make a front lip fit and look good on here. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do about that yet. Aside from that, man, that's really about it. We got to cut the body and do the fender flare install. We got a roof wing for it. There's a lot of cool parts here. Oh, we're putting the NRG seats in it and the NRG wheel. And then I want to do some sort of fabric on the interior. There's no back seat, there's no carpet or anything, but I don't want it to look like a race car. I would like it to look somewhat nice and streetish inside. So I'm going to buy some fabric and try and cover the rear door cards. There are no rear door cards, so I'm going to try and make some, stretch some fabric over it. And the same with like the back seat and the rear trunk, the rear deck lid, where the rear speaker tray. And then like the bottom of the back seats. And then I wanted to go to the junkyard and find some sort of carpet that will fit, some black carpet, maybe from a GS or an IS or something that would work with this car. So I've got a little bit of work to do, but I've got some time to do it in. So I just wanted to update you guys to where we're at so far in this project. All right, so it's another day of working on the Cresta. Today I moved from the interior to work a little bit more under hood. I'm trying to get the plumbing run for the turbo. We were able to get this feed line run across behind the belt and then down to the side of the NA block. That's where the oil pressure sender comes from. The biggest issue I'm going to have is the oil return, the drain falls like right here. It's going to hit that. So
so there's not a great way to do this. So I'm going to try and weld a custom one that kind of comes through here. I don't even know exactly how I'm going to do it. Somewhere down, right through here. Can't go that way because it's going to hit a dead end and the waste heat's going to be right there. So I'll have to figure out exactly what we're going to do about that. Man, that's going to be rough. So I'm going to go to the fitting store and see what kind of stuff I can find down there. And then the other thing is our water lines. The way we run them with this new exhaust housing, the water lines are going to sit like this and it'll be literally touching the housing. So I need to get some extension pieces that put the water lines further away so that there's metal right there and not rubber. That's what I do on my other cars. I just don't know if these local fitting stores are going to have what I need. So we're going to run into town and see what we can find. Oh, the other thing, we're going to do electric power steering. So I'm going to have to get the S2000 pulley and I think it's an Audi belt. I'll have to look that up again, exactly what I need. And then that'll allow me to run that stuff how I need to. Alright, so we moved on to a different phase of what's going on. Colton's helping to straighten out the front of the car here. We ended up having to cut in the frame rail a little bit to get it straight. It was pretty rough, don't you think?
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty twisted. It's twisted up, down, and sideways.
Dang. So I was telling Colton, I don't think we need to make it perfect, but definitely better than where it's at right now. It's pretty tweaked. Luckily, it's all non-suspension related. It's just front end, like where the headlights mount, how the radiator sits, and all that stuff. But it's pretty tweaked. So I think it's worth doing all this while the car's stripped down on the front like this. And then I'll probably get a spray can and just touch up the front, paint everything that I can see without getting overspray everywhere. Just so it looks a little bit cleaner. So earlier today, I decided we're gonna do electric power steering on this car. So I had to go buy some parts for the electric power steering conversion. In order to do it, let's see if we can turn this light on. In order to do the electric power steering, we have to delete the AC and power steering over here. Actually, now that I think about it, I plan on running AC with this car, but I guess I won't do it right now. Actually, that just barely crossed my mind. But what we do is we get an S2000 pulley, the OEM pulley. We take this off and we put this on. This is from like a 2002 Honda S2000 idler pulley. It literally slips on and bolts on. I ended up having to grind away at some of the ridges back here. There's aluminum ridges on the back piece and the pulley hit it, so I just grinded them back till the pulley wouldn't rub on it. Aside from that, we get the belt is, let's see, there's the part number, KO60388. Gates belt. That was 15 bucks and the pulley was 15 bucks. Here's the O'Reilly part number in case you need it, or the Gates part number, 36100. Both of those together were 30 bucks. And basically there's only four things touching the belt and it works really well. I got this on my other car outside and it works out just fine. Inside the car, we've got the roll cage coming apart. I'm trying to get the dash out to do some under dash wiring. In order to get the dash out, the roll cage has got to come out.
You don't mind this getting dirty, do you?
What?
Any of the my fingers will be.
If you can avoid the headliner, that'd be good. Okay. Avoid getting the headliner dirty.
Gotcha.
It'll be kind of hidden behind the cage, but yeah.
We'll get some pliers and cut that.
And the floor's actually raised up here. Looks like people were jacking up this car by the frame rails, and it just pushed right up in the middle. I think this car is too heavy to be jacked up by the frame rails, so we're gonna have to pound that back down. I want to get this vacuumed out, cleaned out really good, and then, like I was saying, I want to put some sort of covering over the doors and over the back, just so it looks a little bit nicer. Clean up the wiring in here, and then we got to mount the energy seats to the brackets that I've already got. So, and then I've got a fancy steering wheel to go in here. But first things first, I gotta get the wiring cleaned up. And might end up painting the roll cage instead of having all this wrap on it. I would like to paint the cage and make it look kind of fancy. Alright, so I've never taken the dashboard out of a JZX before. When I bought the 100 from Trenton, the dashboard was already out of it. And I thought, how hard can it be to pull a dashboard if Trenton's got it out of his car? So Colton and I are here late night trying to figure out how to get this dashboard out. And Colton does this for a living. And I've done this before, also for a living. And dashboards usually aren't super complex to get out. They're not fun,
No,
they're not super complex.
No.
This thing has screws going this way that you can't reach.
Yes.
Holding the wiring harness to the dashboard. Normally the wiring harness is attached to the cross member, whatever you call it, the dash bar.
Yeah.
But this is attached to the dashboard with screws that you can't reach because they're going backwards. You gotta cut the firewall out to get the
Or take the windshield out.
I don't understand why it's like this. I've never pulled a dash. I'm sure there's dashes out there that are harder than this, but this is not easy compared to other dashes that I've pulled out.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we're to the point where we pretty much got it out, but it was kind of a fight the entire way.
It was.
And the wiring harness is not installed in a way that it's not going back the way we took it out, that's for sure.
Oh, you mean the spaghetti?
The whole reason I'm taking the dash out is so I can fix all this mess of wires. Oh my gosh. It's got JDM like toll booth things. It's got a GPS radar detector. It's got an aftermarket stereo. It's got like 15 gauges, and all of them were installed by someone who did a mediocre job. And so I'm gonna do, we call it mediocre plus. It's not a great job, but it's not a mediocre job. It's just in the middle. That's what I'm shooting for.
We're 75%ers. We give it 75%.
That's all this car needs.
Yeah, it's moved a little bit.
Okay, so we're getting some tension on the chain for some reason. I don't know why. And there it is.
All right, give it a little more pressure. Hold right there. Hold right there.
On the truck we're using, it sounds like it's not really moving.
Show them that.
What?
Show them the strap going to the post.
The strap going to the post? What?
The back of the car. Go look back there.
So there's a little strap that's making sure it won't move. Then when we're done with that part, we take that off. Then we are gonna move it somewhere, probably. He's hammering. Okay, so he's hammering the front of the car.
All right, give it one more good tug.
Let's look right here.
Okay.
And that was moving a lot. And over. The strap was tugging a lot.
Come here, tell me what you think. Bottom side's out, the kinks out of the bottom.
It pulled up, huh?
Yeah, it pulled it up.
What about
Oh yeah, that's pretty straight inside there. Remember how that was all folded up really good?
Yeah, that's folded.
Let's see, I've been working around.
Watch out, buddy, you in the light.
With the hammer.
Watch out, watch out. Thank you. Yeah, that's looking a lot better, huh?
Yeah.
We're gonna tug it sideways? I think we can beat it sideways.
We can beat it sideways.
Looks pretty good, doesn't it? What about straight down? Oh yeah, that came out really good. Like, remember how far this was in? Should have measured it from the sway bar. But it's looking pretty good. Let's get a tape measure, take a couple measurements. All right, so we finally started doing some body work on this thing. This is gonna be the long, arduous process of getting this all straightened out. Basically getting stuff sanded down, getting it prepped for paint. We're gonna remove the doors. Colton's gonna bang out that fender. We gotta get these straightened up. They're kind of cracked a little bit, so we'll patch those up a little bit. The rears, we have end-style flares, so we gotta cut the rears and weld that up. There's kind of a lot of prep to do on this car, but I think it's gonna look really good. Also, Colton sprayed the cage today. Came out really good. This shop light doesn't do justice to the color, so I'll pull them out in the sunlight tomorrow and give a full view of that, but that looks really good. Custom color that he had mixed up for a couple years. Finally was able to use it.
Can't believe it wasn't dried up.
It looks good.
Yeah.
So this is where we're at in the process for now. We're waiting on a water pump from O'Reilly. I had the guys from Utah ship my power steering pump, some oil drain line stuff, fittings, and a few other fittings to make stuff work out. But once the water pump is on, I can seal the front of the motor, get that stuff all done, finish the timing, start putting the turbo on, turbo drain, turbo feed line, that kind of stuff. And once that's done and we finished the frame rail, Colton got that all straightened out, we welded the plate back on. That was kind of what was stopping me from putting some of the front end stuff together. So at that point, we can kind of spray paint the front, get that figured out, put the radiator in once the motor stuff is done, and then actually get the front end patched up, intercooler piping, oil coolers, all that stuff. So that's kind of the process we're at. I got the dash out, the interior is taken apart. Obviously the cage is out. So we're gonna wrap the dash in fabric, do the headliner in fabric, do some of the interior panels in fabric. There's a lot going on, many different facets to this project. Also want to polish the headlights while they're out. Just a lot of things going on.
Add to the list.
And we got about 8 days before mid-pond and I head back to Utah. Well, 8 days, but I'm gonna be drifting Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week. So that takes 3 days out of that. So not a lot of time, but yeah, at the same time, a lot of time.
If you don't sleep.